Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everybody Has a Podcast. I'm Andy. Man, doesn't it seem like everybody has a podcast? On today's episode, I'm going to talk about the three things I hear most often as the objections people have for avoiding starting their very own podcast, whether it's personal, hobby, professional, or a blend of all those things together. People have the wildest excuses for why they have not started a podcast. Now, that's kind of coming out the gate a little bit hot. I'm not trying to insult people. I'm not trying to berate people. But when you listen to this episode today, you're going to hear my heart behind why I'm saying those things and how you too can have your own podcast, even if you don't do it with us. Topic number one, I don't like the way I look or sound. Too bad. You look that way, you sound that way. Here's the deal, everybody. You get up every morning and you go about your business. You choose the outfit you're going to wear. If you're a lady, you're doing your hair and makeup a certain way. If you're a guy, you're doing your hair a certain way. Except for those of us bald guys here, we don't have to do our hair at all, which is wonderful. But here's the thing. You're every day choosing how you want the outside world to view and perceive and look at you. And most times, after we've gotten dressed for the day, we don't think about it after that. We rarely are dwelling on our outfit choice throughout the day at noon and 2 and then 5 at the afternoon and 6 in the evening and 8 o'clock at night. I understand maybe there's a situation where, I didn't have the right dress for this occasion today, or I didn't wear the right clothes for this outing or excursion, or what that might be. But I'm talking about the psychological, physiological part of you that was accepting of the outfit you chose and the way you looked and appeared that day. The same is true for how you show up in podcast space. There's no rule for what you should wear, how it needs to look. The real basic thing is you just need to be you. You need to look like you. You need to sound like you. And every day we exit the house to go do our personal business, our actual work and career business. We're engaging with people at the store. We say hello to someone we're walking the dog. We're dropping the kids off at sports, or we're picking something up somewhere. We're engaging with our coworkers. We look the way we look, and they're hearing us sound the way we sound. Just because there's cameras in a podcast studio, or you're behind a microphone sharing your story or talking about whatever you're talking about on your show, does not mean that the way you sound, the way you look is unacceptable for this space. And I don't know who needs to hear that. But if you're listening to this only and you're not watching this, I'm bald. I have zero hair. I'm wearing a black t-shirt and I'm wearing jeans. There's no rule that says I have to show up in a suit and tie. In fact, if I showed up to your office today in a suit and tie and you know me, you'd ask me, what special occasion are you going to? Because I don't normally dress like that. And it's not to say anything down about people that dress like that, but I'm dressing consistently with how people normally see me out in public space, and how you see me at networking events, and how you see me at my office here, how you see us at the studio, and how you interact with me on Zoom calls or FaceTime. The way I look to you is how I look, and the way you look to me is the way you look. The other thing about how you sound is, remember that as a consumer, you are listening to people that might sound just like you too, that might have at one point thought to themselves, I don't like the way I sound, but here they are making content that you as a viewer and audience member are benefiting from, getting value from, adopting or integrating change in your life because of what they're sharing. Please don't discount how you sound as a prerequisite for whether you do or do not do a podcast. And lastly, this is a little bit of a tough one, but I'm going to say it straight out. If you are on social media and you're judging people for the way they look and sound, then you should expect judgment for the way you look and sound too. But I'm willing to bet that you're probably not criticizing and ridiculing eyelashes and makeup and hair and tone and dialect when you're listening to something that has value for you, when you're listening to something that's solving a problem that you might be having in your life, when you're listening to someone tell their own story and their own accolades and their own wins along the way in this journey of life. I bet money that you are not sitting on the other side of the screen silently or audibly judging the way that person is showing up to talk about things that are important to them. Because I don't think you're that kind of person. I really don't. I don't think that you are criticizing people from your phone or from your television in a way that would make them feel less than important as a person. So when it comes to you making content for yourself, the way you look and sound and being confident is important, but it should not stop you from making content in podcast space. The next thing I hear most often is, Andy, I don't know what to talk about. Goodness gracious, I don't even know where to start with this one. There are so many podcasts that are just about life. There's so many podcasts about entertainment and sports and hobbies, podcasts about reading, podcasts about business, about law. There's podcasts about true crime. There's podcasts about reality TV. There's podcasts about podcasts. This is one of them. And the truth is that you do have something to talk about. Now, what you're probably saying is, I don't know that people will find value in what I have to talk about. Well, that's a weird one too, because there's kind of a podcast for everything. If you want to find a podcast about trust wills and estates, you're going to find one. If you want to find a podcast about tax planning, you're going to find one. Now, from an entertainment value perspective, that might not be what we turn to on a Friday night after a long week and we're looking to just let our hair down and enjoy our way into a weekend. But when you have a problem you're looking to have solved, and there's a podcast that answers that, it kind of doesn't matter whether there's entertainment value. It just matters that there's value. And this is what my whole point about talking about the things you know about to talk about. Whatever it is you've experienced that you want to share with people, with whatever variety of vulnerability you choose, go do that. If you want to talk about your profession and what your specialty is, and how you help people in your neighborhood, whether you help them in person, like person to person, human to human, or you help people remotely from wherever they are in the far reaches of the planet, talk about those things. One of the things that I find so astounding is I talk with people who've had 15, 20-year, 30-year careers, very successful in their industry or their field, tell me, I don't know what to talk about. And I kind of chuckle. I'm like, how is it that you were so successful if you didn't know what to talk about this whole time? How did you go for 20 years doing this great and not know what to talk about? Gosh, that's so funny. And the truth is they do know what to talk about. You know what to talk about too. You should be talking about the things if you're talking, let's say you're going to do a professional podcast. You want to do one that's in your industry. You do know what to talk about because every day you're answering questions to your coworkers. You're answering questions to your customers. You're answering questions to your vendors. You might be answering questions that people are lobbing you on social media or in your DM or in your email or in your text on your phone or a phone call. So you're constantly answering questions people are asking you. You're constantly talking about the thing that you're entrusted to do or provide, which also means that whole bucket of topics can come over to podcast space for you to talk about those things in this area as well. And your discussion about those things in this area are there all the time. And you can point people to it, to listen to it, learn from it, glean from it, even if you're not available at the moment to talk about that thing right now in the moment. You can share that with someone and they can watch it once and rewatch it again until it finally sinks in. Or they can share it with someone who they know will be benefiting from that information. So please exercise some caution if you're saying to yourself, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. That is untrue. Even if you're going to do a personal podcast or a hobby podcast, I'm willing to bet that the thing that you're most interested in off the clock, you know a heck of a lot about. Whether it's something you collect, it's something you do, it could be knitting, it could be crochet. Maybe you bought a loom during the shutdown and you're making stuff with it. You know a lot about something off the clock that people are also interested in as well. Is it training your dog? Is it shooting guns? Is it exercising? Is it talking about sports? Is it talking about a specific athlete? It could be any variety of hobby or personal topic that you want to talk about. And I'm willing to bet that you know a lot about that. And the people in your family and friend circle occasionally say, wow, you know a lot about that, don't you? That's also a hint, by the way. If anyone tells you, gosh, you seem to know a lot about that, you're probably onto something that you might actually know a lot about that. And then you can talk about that to an audience. Consider that. Take that in and actually give that weight when deciding whether you actually have something to talk about or you don't, because I'm willing to bet that you do. And lastly, for those of you that want to do a personal podcast about life, about overcoming obstacles, trials, tribulations, successes, and wins, and all the things that you want to share to encourage and inspire others to live out their best life. All you have to do is talk about your story. Where have you been? What's happened to you? What did you do to get out of tough situations? Who helped you along the way? Talk about times when you felt stuck. Talk about times when everything just seemed to be flowing and you were living on easy street, coasting, going 80 in the fast lane, 65 if you're following the speed limit, but 80 because you just have life on autopilot, as we say. Talk about all that stuff. Your story is yours. Now, I'm going to caution you, don't show up here and fabricate your story. That will actually work against you. You need to be honest about what you're talking about. You need to talk about the things that really happened. Now, could you be a little theatrical about it? Be a little loud about it? Yeah, perhaps. But just don't falsify the facts. That's going to work against you in the long term. And you're going to have to carry forward lies that you really don't need to, because they don't need to exist to begin with. So my advocacy for you is, if you want to do a personal podcast, make it real, be authentic, test your own vulnerability, and decide what it is you want to talk about and how you wish for people to hear those parts of your life so that they can also have a benefit from that being shared as well. The third thing I hear all the time is, I don't have a system to follow. That seems like a lot of work. What do I do with all this stuff? Well, the bottom line up front is we've already designed a playbook that tells you what to do and shows you where to put all the stuff we deliver to you. So you can just follow that and you're set to go. You're ready to start a podcast. You're ready to put your podcast on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and even on audio syndication platforms. If you want help, we'll gladly help with that. But the idea that you don't have a system and a structure, you have us with that system and structure. You walk into the studio and you do your show and then you leave. When you leave, our system is already taking in that show down the pipeline of our production process to deliver everything finished for you. And then after we deliver it to you, you have the playbook that shows you where to put it, that you can do, someone on your team can do, maybe an assistant, or maybe a virtual assistant if you have one. Or maybe if it's most beneficial for you to understand that process first, maybe you dig in and you do the first couple of episodes. Maybe you do the first 5 or 10 yourself. And you make any internal refinements that you want to with our base explanation plan to then how you need to tune it up for your specific show delivery and what you wish to do. So the structure exists because we already have it. You don't need to create a new structure. You can modify it to your liking if you choose, but you're going to leave here with the structure too. We have the physical space, we have the equipment, and we have the post-production process that also that already delivers back to you a finished product ready to go to each of the platforms that you want to see your show put on. So unfortunately for this topic, you're going to have to come up with a better reason than I don't have a system or structure to follow in order to make a podcast. Now, but Andy, what do I talk about? Now we're back to the other one. Show topics, who should my guests be, all that. There's so many ways to slice that and drive value for the people you want to talk to, even if it's a solo show like this, or even if it's just you and one guest, or maybe you're better off having a panel and it's you asking 2 or 3 people questions to carry a more longer and maybe at depth conversation for whatever topic you're picking that specific week or that month. But when it comes to structure, the structure for the technical parts exists. The structure for your show can exist very easily by looking at all the things you talk about all the time, all the things you're answering all the time, the things people come to you that you're most trusted for, the thing that people come to you to help when they're, the most difficult parts of their life, or the thing that people on the personal side ask you about. On the personal side are looking for your advice and your wisdom and your discernment on what to do in such and such situation. All those things can find their way into your pre-production system where you schedule guests, where you set up your time with us, where you come in and do your show, and then carry out that process. So in the end, no matter how you look or sound, and whether you think you have something to talk about or you don't, and you feel like you lack a system, all of those things we help people with here, no matter which 1 or 2 or 3 you're struggling with, and which one you might be in the most need of. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope that if you're listening to this and you know someone who should have a podcast, but they haven't started yet, I hope you will send this to them. I want you to share this with people so they feel empowered and encouraged to start their own show. Yes, even if they're not doing it with us. Thank you so much for listening to this week's Everybody Has a Podcast. We'll see you next time.